I didn't study finance. I studied industrial chemistry. But somehow I found myself in the heart of Nigeria's finance industry, working behind the scenes for the past 7 years. And now I'm on my way to getting my CIBN certification. But this is not because I had it all figured out. But it was because I became obsessed with learning how to build wealth. And here's what I discovered. You don't need a finance degree. You definitely don't need to be rich. And you don't need to love numbers to learn how to manage your money like the 1%. You just need a system that works and the consistency to stick with it. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you all I've learned about building wealth and the simple ways to go about it. No fluff, no jargon, just a clear roadmap that can work for anyone and everyone interested. So the very first one is the big lie. Many people who are smart in school still struggle with money till this day. And that is because money is not taught in school, which somehow I feel is intentional. We are mostly taught chemistry, for me who have like a degree in chemistry. So we don't learn the basics about money. Even when you are studying finance, you have to get up to the university before you are now concentrating on finance. If you studied economics in school, you will know that you are just basically taught credit and debit, which necessarily does not teach you how to make money or how to manage your money. It's just more of like the theoretical aspect of money that is being taught in school. So there are so many things that we have to unlearn if you are to learn how to build wealth the right way. And this has taken me quite some time. Like, I had to unlearn so many things I know about money. And if you are one that you grew up in Nigeria, maybe your parents were teachers, you know that you were basically taught discipline at home, not necessarily about how to make money. Because let's be honest, your parents did not really know how to make money. They were just basically living that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle that we talk about now as if it's a taboo. But then it was seen as like them having a stable job. They were able to take us to school. When we look at it now, okay, they are like it was just like a stable life. You're basically living paycheck to paycheck, hoping that life goes on, not necessarily thinking about how to grow rich. So all these things are things that our teachers never taught us in school. Maybe one, because they did not really know, or two, it was not even in the curriculum in the first place for them to teach us about money. So there are so many things that we have to learn on our own now, growing up as adults and wanting to learn how to make money. So just have that at the back of your mind. School will not teach you how to make money. They will just teach you how to become a chemistry student, how to become an economic student, not necessarily how to make money. So this is one thing we have to get out there until governments and monetary authorities start thinking of ways to put money or how to make money as part of the curriculum. This cycle will continue. People will not be taught about how to make money. They will not have to be forced to learn how to make money in the real world. So you now find that people graduate from universities, graduate from secondary schools and all that without learning how to make money. They now have to learn about it when they start facing real life situations. Earning more money won't make you rich. This was one thing that after I understood it, this was when I started building real wealth. So there's this idea that when you are earning more money, you are rich. But just like I said, there are a lot of things that we have to unlearn if we are to build real wealth. So we need to clarify this. Income is the money you are earning over a certain period of time, maybe monthly, yearly, or however your income comes. But wealth, on the other hand, is the total assets you have acquired over time. So we see people like Warren Buffett, we see people like Jeff Bezos, we see people like Amazon and co, like all these rich people that we all look up to and want to be like in the future or even in the present. But then we know that these people have over time built wealth because of the amount of assets they have, not necessarily the income they are having from maybe their businesses and all that. Because over time, this their income have now translated to them building of their portfolio, their assets, to the point where they are now considered to be wealthy people. This is why you find somebody who is earning like a high salary, but then they are living paycheck to paycheck because they have just created their lifestyle in such a way that their salary is enough for them to live in that their bubble that they've created for themselves. So not necessarily translating from them being high earners to being wealthy people. Wealth involves you creating a pool of assets that have over time, whatever happens, you always find something to fall back on. So we need to clarify that, and it is something that you need to have at the back of your mind if you are to build real wealth. And one true way to build wealth is having ownership, investments, creating systems around your money. And when I say ownership, like, okay, let's take Amazon for example. Amazon is a business that has grown over time. Jeff Bezos has created wealth from having Amazon and so many other investments over time, but he has serious ownership in Amazon. You having ownership in a business is a good way to build wealth, because as long as that business is a sustainable one, as long as the business is growing, that is how your wealth is growing. So ownership in a business, investing in a business, investing in whatever, you investing in Tesla, Amazon, on maybe as stocks, is you still having ownership in these businesses. Not necessarily that as much as the owners or people who have high stakes in these businesses, but you own a part of the business, if you get what I'm trying to say. But just having it at the back of your mind that ownership in a business, you having like a percentage stake in this business, is one way to build wealth. And over time, when this your wealth accumulates, you find that you are not considered to be okay among this set of people who are maybe this high net worth of people, that high net worth. But just basically having that at the back of your mind, that income is different from wealth. Like, it is a game changer. Once you understand this and start applying it in your wealth building journey, you find that you just leave that department of income earners who are living paycheck to paycheck to this set of people who are building wealth, because they know what real wealth is. And like I said, wealth is the accumulation of assets, or building up your portfolio of assets that will over time keep making you more money even while you sleep. If you want to build true wealth, there's a wealth formula that you have to follow. Spend less, save more, invest wisely, or invest smart. Just having these three things at the back of your mind when you are on your journey to building wealth simplifies your whole journey. So when we say spend less, obviously, like, you have to think of intentional spending. Like, the things I'm spending my money on, are they things that are bringing value into my life, or they are things that me, I'm just chasing hype, or I'm just chasing trend, or I'm just trying to keep up with everybody around me? Or are you spending your money intentionally in such a way that it is adding value to your life, even though it is something you enjoy doing? Maybe you love traveling, but you are intentionally doing these things because it is bringing you joy. Or you are intentionally spending your money in ways that, okay, you've created a budget around your money, so you are being intentional about how every aspect, how your money moves. So that's one thing you have to consider. And you have to save with a goal in mind. Like, are you saving because you want financial freedom, or are you saving just for the sake of saving because they said you should save? Or are you saving because you have like a short-term goal, a long-term goal you're trying to achieve? All these are things you need to think of. So we have talked about spend intentionally, save with a goal, and now you have to invest smart. Don't just invest because everybody's saying you should invest. You have to invest intentionally, just like we said, spend intentionally. You have to invest with long-term goals in mind. Like, are you planning for your retirement? Or like, some people will say, okay, they want to retire when they are 40, they don't want to wait till they are 60 before they retire. That is a goal. You have to now focus on it and charge at it with discipline. So invest smart, put your money in places that that will help your money to grow. Diversify your investment. Don't necessarily just put them in one place hoping that this place will be like your all and all. It's just like when African parents say, okay, my child is my retirement plan. When that plan fails, or maybe when your child goes astray, that your plan is gone. So you have to learn how to diversify. This is one thing I've learned on my journey to building wealth, and it has made a whole lot of difference. Now I have money coming from different aspects of my investment because I've learned how to diversify, I've learned how to invest smart, and basically not looking for everywhere that there's high interest. Having sustainable growth is much more better than chasing high growth that has so much risk. This is not to say that you should not take risk. Risk is kind of synonymous with investment, but involving yourself in calculated risk is much better than just going at it because you don't really want to be intentional about whatever it is you're doing. So this is the third one. We need to know this if you are to build real wealth, or at least this is one of the things I learned while building wealth. There is something called the bank trap. So how we normally just think about, when we think about savings, we think about keeping our money in the bank. Or then there is now that set of people who even when they keep their money in the savings account, they run their account like it's a current account, so their money in the bank is basically not even making them any money. It is just like another pot where you put your money, take your money out, put your money, so you are basically not making any money there. But then again, for those that even decide, okay, I have a savings account and I'm operating it as a savings account rather than a current account, you find that your money is still not growing as much as you would have grown if you had put it in maybe a high yield savings account, or invest in government bonds, or invest in CBN bills, like so many other places that you can put your money, mutual funds, or even investing in stocks, which are more of like long-term investment options. But then you decide to keep all your money in the bank where it is basically losing value every single day. This is not to say you should not put your money in the bank, because the banking sector obviously helps the country to move, taking money from where there's less to where it is needed more. So this is one of the major banking sector. So it helps to like help the economy to grow and all that. But don't put all your money in the bank. That is all I'm saying, because you're basically making the least amount of money plus the hidden charges in those accounts. Now for every transfer you make, if you transfer more than 10,000 naira, you already charge 15 naira. Like all these charges, when you accumulate them, they make a lot of money. I can remember a friend of mine telling me to transfer 9,999 just so that I'm not transferring 10,000 to avoid banks from taking 53 naira of my money, only for me to still end up forgetting and then transferring 10,000, and I was charged 53 naira for making this transfer. While it is convenient to because they've created technologies and apps that makes it easier to move money without having to do physical movement and all that, these charges still take a toll on our finances, and you are basically not making a whole lot of interest, because the banks make their major money from giving out loans to businesses and to whoever comes to take loans. So when they use your money to give out loans, they are in need to make money, so they are going to be taking a bigger chunk of the interest, then giving you like the least minimum as specified by the central bank and the rules that has been created for interest rates. So your money is basically not making you any money, so you are going to have to use places like treasury bills, CBN bills, government bonds, mutual funds. All these places are places that you can put your money to help it grow. And this is one thing I've learned that has made a whole lot of difference. So now you only find me keeping my emergency fund in the bank, not necessarily that I'm keeping my money in the bank as a source of savings, because I'm basically not getting any interest from saving there. So why would I keep my money there? So if you do not know this, now you know you need to put your money in places that it will make you money. The fifth one is the power of compound growth. Some people know that compound interest is one of the 8 wonders of the world. Compound interest is how Warren Buffett made his money, how a lot of people who grew their money from investing in stock market grew their money. This is not only in the area of stocks. You making decisions to keep small money is the only way your money is going to grow. Let's say that person, you find these two set of people. One person is always putting 10,000 naira out every month, like over time they've just become so used to it, now their money is growing and all that. But then you have another person who they basically invest 100k only once in the year. This other person grows discipline and has learned consistency. He or she is more likely to last or reap the effect of compound interest over the course of time, because your money grows every single month, other than the person who has invested their money once in that year, thinking that okay, they've invested the same amount as the other person, but then they are two different people entirely, because one has learned discipline, has learned consistency, has benefited from investing from every month because of the power of compound interest, while this other person does not learn discipline. He can decide to take out his money tomorrow because he does not feel like investing again, because he has not learned discipline and consistency. So compound interest is very important if you are to grow your money. It now shows that starting now beats starting big later. So just start now and watch your money grow, rather than that person that is waiting for like certain months in the year when they want to invest a big amount of money. It is not the same thing. Those are two completely different people. So choose where you stand in these two sets of people. There's a method I currently use that has really helped make a huge difference in my finances, or at least in budgeting my finances, and that is applying the zero budgeting method. So I've come to the era now where I've learned that miscellaneous is not needed. Before, when we are planning our money, before we plan anything, we write miscellaneous at the bottom because we are hoping that one situation will come up or the other. But if you don't plan for miscellaneous, trust me, I've learned that it never comes up, because it was not needed in the first place. But because we've just created this habit around, like we've made miscellaneous very important, you now find that the money you are going to be spending in the miscellaneous, it is never enough. You still end up having to take maybe a portion of your savings to make up for that miscellaneous, because you have already created a situation for miscellaneous to be there in the first place. But since I started practicing zero budgeting method, now every naira has a role, nothing is left out. At the end of the month, I find that my salary is equal to what I have budgeted for, so there's no room for miscellaneous, and it has really had a huge difference in how my money move. And with this zero budgeting method, I don't have to fall in that trap of those people who say they are saving what is left after they've taken care of every other thing. With this budgeting method, like in one of my videos where I shared how I budget my salary whenever it comes, I basically start from paying myself first. So I've taken care of my savings, my for personal, I've taken care of my retirement, for my investments, everything. Then I move on to creating an emergency fund. Then from emergency fund, I now create like fixed bills, all those things that I know that they are recurring bills that I cannot do without paying for them. But because I've, done it in such a way that every single naira has a role, it takes care of everything I need to take care of without having to feel like, okay, I need extra money here, but or I need to save what is left after I've taken care of every other thing. Creating a budget helps you manage your money better, and now taking it a step further to use the zero budgeting method, game changer. This is one thing I've learned, and it has really made a whole lot of difference in how my money moves. Mindset is the real wealth. I know you've heard of mindset a lot of time. Many people telling you that you need to have the right mindset towards money and all that. But tell me now, if you don't believe that you're going to make 1 million naira, no matter how they create avenues for you to make 1 million naira, do you think you will ever know how to make that 1 million naira? I believe we both know the answer to that, because you need to have the right mindset towards life or towards things for them to actualize themselves in your life. You find that, okay, me, I've talked about it several times on this channel where I said I will never lack. I always keep proclaiming it to myself, and I found that even when things are hard for people, things always finds its way to working out for me. So that is what they say, mindset. Like, the mindset you have towards life influences how life turns out for you. Now take it a step further and include it in your finances, in how money will work in your life. You now find that you find that the rich people that you're even talking about today, they already believe, even while working towards whatever it is that made them wealthy now, they already believe that this was going to be their reality. They practiced delayed gratification, they had long-term goals, and did not engage in emotional spending. How many rich people have you seen that will decide that, okay, they just decide to wake up and buy a house, if they did not already create like an avenue for them to make enough money? When they buy a house, it does not even feel like anything is changing in their life. They're just buying a house because they already have the money around it. So if you're the one that's always spending money based on, oh, I feel like I need to buy this today, without having any plans for it, you need to change your ways. Like, in short, you need care. But I believe many people find themselves in this place until they find someone else that tells them, okay, things can be different, change your ways. And just like I'm telling you now, these are some of the things that the real wealthy people that we look up to today apply in their lives. That is what has brought them to this place where they can be considered financially free without having to think about money all the time. And for me, this mindset shift has really helped me to save millions upon millions without having to sacrifice my lifestyle, because I've created systems around my money and how it works for me. So guys, these are some of the things that I had to learn from being so obsessed about what wealth is, how to build wealth, and especially making it simple for myself without having to be the one that is controlling spreadsheets, because I did not study finance. So I had to learn it the simple way, and that is how I'm going to be sharing it with you on this space. So I hope you found value from watching this video, or I hope it gave you an idea of how to manage your money, or how to think about your money going forward, so that you can manage your money just like the 1% does, and start allowing your money to work for you rather than you working for your money. So if you really enjoyed this video, I would love for you to click that like button, subscribe to the channel for more tips and tricks like this. Anything that is working, I'm bound to share it with you without holding back. So I'll see you guys in my next one. Check out this other video that I have here. It is one that will definitely help you in your journey to building wealth. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.